Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out in the field doing a little bit of field work, and I figure what better day than a nice sunny day to test out some gloves. On a day like today, my hand can get a little bit sweaty, so it's kind of nice to have something that I can rely on when I don't have dirt or chalk. My thumb is just starting to heal, so I don't really want to have to use a whole lot of chalk today. The gloves I will be testing out today are going to be friction gloves and layout ultimate Frisbee gloves. Pretty much I will be reviewing a couple things. One being just the glove in general, how it feels, how it fits in my hand, how it feels to hold a disc with the glove. And then I'll be testing out how it feels to throw with each glove, forehand, backhand. All right, let's get right into it. Before I get into it, I do want to shout out to both Friction Glove and Layout. I have nothing against or in favor of either company. I just want to give sort of an unbiased compare and contrast video, so just to put that on the line when we start. First glove I'll be looking at is the Friction Glove. Actually feels really good, flexible. I feel like I can put my thumb pretty much all the way parallel and a little bit further back than my fingers, which is really good flexibility. It allows me to open my hand up to grab a distance driver a little bit better. I do like the grip. I don't really prefer that there's no grip on the side. Breathable, pretty flexible material, but overall a really good feeling glove. Nice and comfortable. It's warm out and it doesn't feel hot. My hands don't feel like they're going to get even more sweaty by putting it on, so that's a good thing. Let's test out the layout glove. Both gloves do have the Velcro feature. I will say the layout glove is a lot nicer, that it folds kind of over top. These are a lot more tacky. I do wear an extra large glove. It's a little baggy. It's not as flexible, barely a little bit more restrictive than the Friction Glove there. Breathable. I don't really like how baggy it looks and feels. I don't know, it seems a little bulky. Maybe if my hands were not only a little bit bigger, maybe these were a size smaller. They fit good otherwise. I feel like maybe a smaller size would be even more restrictive here. Overall though, they feel pretty comfortable, pretty good. I think if I were to give a rating scale right off the bat for the overall feel, I would have to lean towards the Friction Gloves. I almost wanted to say layout just because of the Velcro. Now I'm going to be doing some throws, both forehand and backhand. Right now I have 14 discs for each glove, so I'm going to throw the 14 shots with the Friction Glove, and then I'll give my review after. A little bit of headwind, crosswind. I'm getting really good snap on these so far with the Friction Glove. No complaints so far with the backhand. Off the bat, feels really good in the hand. Doesn't feel like gets in the way at all with the webbing. I don't really like how the side, like I said, with the mesh, because I like to rest the side on the inner plate here. And so I almost feel like I have to change my grip a little bit. So it does feel a little strange. Let's see how it throws. Definitely was thinking about it a lot. I'm gonna try to not think about it and just throw at my target. I mean, not bad. Looks like there's a sprinkler head out there. I hope I don't get sprinklered on. Let's see how stable this Tesla is with the forehand. Oh, it's perfect. Perfect stability. Never change, Tesla, never change. That's the Friction Glove. Pretty good overall. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it a give it an 8.5. I think being a glove can never be a 10 out of 10. I'm sorry. However, give it that 9.5. If it just had the grip fabric instead of the mesh fabric on the side, I think it would make forehands feel a lot more comfortable. Overall, though, the backhands felt great. I'm going to test out the layout now. Yeah, Velcro over top. Maybe it's because it's the baseball thing, just over top. Right away, instant feel. A lot louder. Sorry about that if it was super loud. It's so much more tacky. I feel like I'm like a wide receiver or something. In the hand though, feels great. Doesn't feel like it's gonna fly out of my hand at all though. So we'll see if I can throw it. Man, get really good grip on that. That was a understable fairway, so makes sense. It feels good with the glove on. Doesn't feel like it's intrusive at all. Even though I did feel like initially it was kind of baggy, it's still so light of a glove that it doesn't even really feel like it's in the way. And as soon as the disc is in my hand, like I can't even really feel the glove. So far, so good. You can definitely feel it on the fingertips when I'm doing this, you know, that's like bunched up a little bit. So it does feel like it, but as far as just the finger right here, that feeling feels pretty normal. Oh, wow. Felt like it went far, but it didn't. But it kind of did. Firebird. Try the forehand. Okay, yeah. So instantly the grip with that inner, right there, that inner grip, whatever this material is on the inner plate, feels so much better. However, this part, the web, kind of feels a little bulky. Let's see how it throws. Definitely feels better with a forehand. Doesn't really feel intrusive at all. So far, so good. Yeah, couple more. Look at my hooligan disc art. Right, nice and straight. MVP motion. Supposed to be like that Tesla, just a tad stabler. More stable? Stabler? Okay, well, 14 each. That's going to be the end of the throwing portion. If I were to kind of compare or rank, even though it's a little bit more baggy, I'm going to give it to the layout. That grip, just really nice. I do know with my old gloves that the grip over time wears. 4 years ago that I got those, so it's not really fair to say that they would wear faster than the friction gloves. Overall, just because I feel like the forehand is more comfortable. So right now we kind of have 1 and 1. Now, sort of before I get into the putting, because they have a webbing, not going to allow you to grab onto the distance driver as easily. Now, the friction glove is actually really comfortable and nice. It doesn't feel like it really gets in the way. However, it doesn't have that material. So it feels like it's just going to slip out of my hand. Many people know I love throwing this disc, but it doesn't feel comfortable when I'm wearing a glove. So I kind of have to disc down to like a fairway, and then it feels fine. But this, it doesn't really feel that great. So let me try out the layouts with the same disc. You can see pretty bunched up right there at the end. There's a lot of fabric in the way, but because of the grip, I don't feel like I have to grab down as hard. I feel like I can just make a connection with the disc instead of slam down, and it feels a little bit more comfortable to hold a thicker rim disc. Backhand, they both feel the same. It's really only noticeable with the forehand. So, all right, now I have a basket. I'll be showing you guys what I think, or how I think these things feel with a putter. Now, I've used that layout glove for, like I said, a handful of years now. I've used it a lot in the cold. It's pretty much primarily when I use it is when it's really cold out and I don't want my hand to just get all cold and wet when I'm doing practice. Like I said, anything throwing, putting is going to be different than you're probably used to if you're using a glove for the first time. And like I said, out of that 10 out of 10, it's always going to be like a half a point off. So I'm going to do some putts. Basically, my putting grip, I don't really think it's affected really at all. If anything, it just feels like I have more control over the putter, which more control equals better putts. So let's do some putts. Yeah, it's different, but it's the same. If you don't think about it too much, it's fine. You just think, hey, you know, I'm just tossing this plastic thing into this metal thing over there, then it's really not that big a deal. Let's try out the layout. All right, so layout. It's kind of more what I'm not necessarily used to, but I did use this kind of glove. It was a size smaller. I do like how this XL is a little bit better as far as the web goes with restriction. I feel like the other one didn't really allow me to open up my hand all the way. I guess a lot of it is just kind of what size of glove you get. But beside just the squeakiness, which might end up going away, I don't know how much of that, if it does go away, will be a negative effect on the grip or if it'll just kind of wear out. So you can get past the fact that you're wearing a glove. These are not bad at all. They feel great. They're nice and light. think overall for specific days, maybe like today if it's sunny out and I don't have or want to use chalk or dirt, or if it's kind of rainy or cold out, use some gloves. All right guys, well I got all those discs I gotta go pick up now, and I'm gonna do a few more rounds of throwing. Just wanted to give you that review on both friction gloves and the layouts. You know, if I had to rate them both, I'd just give it a tie. They're pretty much the same. It's just if that friction glove can get a little bit better grip on that inner part of the finger, that would be a huge plus. No glove though is better than glove in my opinion. If I could use dirt, I would. Or if it's cold and if it's rainy and you don't want your hand to get all cold while you're practicing for a while, then nice for that too. So I do have a code for friction gloves. If you use code Clokey20, you can get a little discount on your order, and they have an order where you can just buy the one glove too, so you don't have to buy like a pair. I think if I am going to be using a glove, if I'm going to be throwing a lot of forehands, I'll probably be using the layout glove. Right now, I like them both, and they'll be in the arsenal if I need them. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope I don't get sprinklered on.